Hey guys, so today I bring you a review on a book that has been getting a ton of buzz, both in and out of BookTube it seems, and that is The Martian by Andy Weir. I read this book because everyone was talking about it, and it honestly seemed a little bit out of the normal realm of what BookTube usually reads. It's a sci-fi novel that takes place on Mars. Not your typical book for this internet community. The book follows an astronaut named Mark Watney who has been left behind on Mars after his team had to emergency evacuate due to a perilous sandstorm that was coming. Due to some events that happened during the evacuation, Mark's team presumed him dead, hightailed it out of there, unfortunately had to leave him behind, but then turns out he's not dead, and he wakes up, he's alone on Mars, he can't communicate to his team, he cannot communicate to Earth, he's in a very, very bad situation. So the story follows Mark and his attempts and different ways of using the tools that are left for him in order to make a plan for survival. He obviously has a lot of knowledge about NASA's future plans with Mars and sort of uses that to define how he's going to create food for himself, keep his shelter, and make water. There is a lot of detail in this story. Andy Weir spares no expense when it comes to describing how things are done. Right off the bat of the novel, Andy Weir spends a lot of time describing, at least from Mark's point of view, how he's going to survive, and that involves a fair amount of numbers, calculations, math, science, an interesting combination of the two, which if you are inclined towards those subjects, things related to science and math, when their numbers are very important and everything is very descriptive, great. You're gonna love this book because you combine that with a really fantastic plot line, add in all of these cool explanations with a lot of numbers and scientific know-how on how to make things work. Yeah, this story is for you. However, for someone like myself, who was never a huge fan of math and science, doesn't really care a whole lot about how it all really works out and comes together, those descriptions got very tedious. It threw me off a little bit at the beginning, and then it kind of leveled out a bit, and then every time it would come back in, I sort of get that glazed look in my eye and just sort of go through it really quickly because honestly, I didn't care. The parts I cared about were his journal entries, his eventual ability to communicate with the team back on Earth, the team on Earth's perspective of what was going on, and obviously, is he going to survive? I didn't really care too much about the intricate mathy, sciencey details of it. That being said, Mark is a fantastic character, very entertaining. His sense of humor appealed to me about 90% of the time. Sometimes the jokes were a little, not my flavor, but most of the time he had this fantastic dark humor about him. There was also the team back on Earth who were interesting, not obviously nearly as well developed as Mark, but they still were an excellent secondary perspective on everything, and we even get to see a little bit of banter and interaction between Mark's 5 other members of his team. Frankly, I enjoyed reading all of those bits, and that was the part that really kept me hooked. I read the last bit of this book very, very quickly, sort of taking my time, and then the tension was becoming so great, and the prospects of how on earth is he going to get himself out of this situation became so pertinent that I just had to keep reading. As far as the novel goes, I decided to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's an engaging story with great characters, but there are some slow parts, and there's a lot of issues with, all of that scientific mathematical jargon that was just not my thing. I think it is also worth mentioning the movie adaptation for this book is coming out soon. It stars Matt Damon as Mark Watney and has a couple other awesome actors that are going to be in the lineup: Jessica Chastain, Kate Mara, etc., etc. And the reason I even bother mentioning this is that honestly, I think the movie has the potential to be better than the book, because the movie can cut out a lot of those parts that I wasn't a huge fan of, all of those scientific, parts, just because it doesn't help a movie's flow. So they'll be able to take all of the best bits and really be able to give us a face for those characters. I've been watching the trailers, seeing the little clips, and I'm honestly really excited for it. So if you're excited for the movie too, even if you haven't read the book, or if you have, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the upcoming movie. If you have read the novel, let me know what you thought down below too. I don't think I've actually heard a bad review for this book yet, so I'm I'm sure there are a few people out there who didn't enjoy it as much, but let me know if that was you. As always, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you later.